Greetings everyone, this is Force Nature of Top Tier Tips, and I welcome you to your prime spot for tips and tricks to help you level up at DOA6. Alright, in our last session we looked at the very extensive move details box. In this session we're going to be taking a look at frame advantage. DOA6 in most fighting games run at 60 frames per second, so that means for every second that passes, 60 frames pass. Alright, for an example, Kasumi's jab takes 9 frames to execute, so that means for every time Kasumi wants to jab, it will end up taking less than 1/6 of a second for that to execute. So that's not taking into account active frames or recovery frames or anything. Just to throw it out right there, that's less than 1/6 of a second. So just let that sink in for a moment. Okay, we got our move details box out right now, so let's just end this looking at some numbers. Alright, right now you can see right here that Kasumi's jab indeed activates in 9 frames, not 9 seconds. 9 seconds would be horrific. And it has 13 frames of recovery. You see right here, when I whack someone with Kasumi's jab, it leaves her at a -1 on normal hit. I know on paper that seems kind of bad that you're -1 and negative, but because the big thing in DOA, the reason why a lot of moves are negative on normal hit is because they have follow-ups. The reason why that is because DOA wants to discourage just doing jab shenanigan nonsense on block. Like Kasumi is a 9-frame jab. Let's say I was doing this to someone like I don't know, like Brad Wong, Bass, or like Neo Tango, characters that have like a 11-frame jabs or like even slower than that. Like Bass is like 13 frames or something like that. With a 9-frame jab, like Kasumi could basically just like do this all day, and like Bass wouldn't be able to do really do anything about it aside from like do some sort of like high crush move or like that, or maybe like sidestep, yada yada. But the main reason why attacks are negative on normal hit is to give the opponent an opportunity to be able to call out a free cancel, because you see Kasumi does have delayable follow-ups after her jab, so by making it a negative on normal hit, it just gives the opponent a chance to be able to react to it. Just to make sure we're all on the same page, right here you see if Kasumi after a 9-frame jab is -2, that means that a subsequent jab will end up taking 11 frames to come out. Her elbow is normally, you see right there is 11 frames, so that would take 13 frames to come out, and a 2P would end up taking, a 2P would end up taking 14 frames to come out as opposed to 12 because of the -2. But this is DOA. You don't, connected moves on normal hit, unless if it doesn't stun, doesn't really mean much. So what you want to do is generally connect stuff on counter hit. Like look how good a counter hit 6P is. Like you get +20. With +20, that means that you can connect any 18-frame move or faster, basically, for free. That means that the only thing that the opponent can do to end up getting out of that situation is either guessing the correct hold or using a break hold. But yes, in DOA, you want to be able to connect things. You basically want to either connect things on counter hit or get in stuns. Connecting moves on counter hit almost always usually causes you a nice juicy stun right here. Anything that gives advantage more than, let's say, really even like anything from like +19, +20 or whatever is usually good. Like Kasumi's really fast, so she can usually make most stuns work. Unfortunately, something like 6K only gives you +9, so that's just considered like frame advantage. But once you get a stun, your objective is either to kind of keep the stun going until you go too far and then the opponent just kind of falls over, or you can just launch right away. I mean, yeah, connecting stuff on counter hit is nice. Like, I mean, like counter hit 6Ps are almost universally like really good. But on connecting stuff on normal hit, let's say just say counter normally, certain things like your KK, right there. So I get +19. With +19, with Kasumi just 3P in there, you get a monstrous +30 lift stun. So stuff that it's like stuff that ends up stunning on normal hit is good too. So thinking about this, when you're going through your character's move list, first see like what kind of stuff can stun on normal hit. I'll give you a hint, they're very commonly kicks. And then of course, see what kind of stuff ends up stunning on counter hit. Or just simply use like 6P, 4P, 3P. Lift stuns are always nice. Alright, when the opponent is stunned, as you could probably already know, the only thing they can do is end up going for a hold or a break hold. So basically, they're basically gonna be, they have essentially two things on their mind. Well, maybe three things, but the main thing is that they're either thinking like what follow-up you're gonna do, so you're gonna try and hold it. If they're uncertain of what move you're gonna do, they're gonna try to break hold. Either of those, of course, can be punished with a throw for like high counter damage or whatever. But another thing also, of course, is if the opponent just sees you waiting it out, then what they're gonna do is they're gonna try and bar you, or to basically mean they're gonna try and attack from disadvantage. So if you end up like stunning them and you take too long, then you're gonna end up seeing like a Bari tactics or anything like that. But other than that, I'll let you know, in DOA6 there is no stagger escape. So when a stun says it's plus 19, then you're at plus 19. Like again, I will have to reiterate again. When it comes to the frame data in DOA, you have to add 2 frames for strikes and 1 frame for throws, because of the way how just the frames, just how it operates in this game. So when you see plus 19, just remember in your mind, any 17 frame move or faster will connect. For throws, there will be any 18 frame, but you can't throw you can't throw someone in stun. So it's, I mean, for that, so for how the system balances, you can't do that. What you actually can do is wait for the stun to end and throw them right at the end. But again, there's no stagger escape, so the kind of throw during stun tactic is not as big as it was in previous DOAs, where if an opponent was to do a stagger escape, then you end up, as soon as they stagger escape, they finish stagger escape into a block, and you end up like throwing them or something like that. Alright, when you're at significant frame advantage, or something I just want to keep in mind, let's say when you're at, like, let's say plus 19 or higher, the thing to keep in mind is, do you want to just launch right away? Or do you want to like extend the stun like right there, use like a 3P or something for a big lift stun for like plus 30 frame advantage? And of course, the thing you're keeping in mind is if you launch right away, the opponent's completely helpless, and then you get a guaranteed juggle. Whereas of course, if you do a 3P, the opponent still has a chance to be able to hold out of it, or like break hold or something like that. But I'll also give you another tip. If you do end up getting a big lift stun, you can actually do dash up and like then do a jab extension. See if I can show you. Right there, you get a jab extension, you get a plus 36, which of course is a massive amount of frame advantage. All right, to open up an opponent that is generally just standing there, what I usually recommend for most characters is just simply go for, like, even with like Ionis, just go for your 2P. Alright, in Ionis' case, her 2P is a 12 frame low that is neutral advantage on normal hit. So obviously, if an opponent's standing there, then lows will obviously work on them. However, if you're certain that let's say for instance the opponent's going for a high or anything like that, then what you can do is go for like a high crush move that's like advantage on hit. Like with Ayane, it's her 2 H+K. With most characters, it's usually some sort of suite that is usually 2 H+K. With Kasumi, for example, her low stun-in frame advantage move is her 1K. But with like Ayane, for instance, it's her 2 H+K right there. So obviously, if an opponent's standing there, then you can just open them up with a 2 H+K, as opposed to, of course, I mean, you can always do like throws, but like if you end up doing if your throw's not a reset throw, you're just simply resetting the situation, but not necessarily in your favor. Like someone like Hitomi, for instance, has a stand-in reset throw, so that one's also good for opponents to just stand there. But for a lot of characters, you can either just if your 2P is neutral or +1, you could use that. But of course, your frame advantage low is always a good choice also. All right, apart from the aforementioned lows or throws to like open an opponent, other things you can do that I recommend is basically just different kind of string delays or anything like that. Mainly what I want you to focus on is moving the opponent from reaction mode, where they can end up like maybe holding a predicted follow-up easily, like the third hit of a string or something like that. Or they can end up like punishing you with a throw if you always end up like doing an unsafe string on block. But if you end up moving the opponent into guess mode, that means that there are two things. They're guessing like what are you going to be, they're wondering what are you going to be doing next, And also they're wondering, like, when do I get to push a button? When an opponent's in guess mode, they're focusing more on kind of like looking out for, they're looking out between like multiple options and stuff like that. When they're in reaction mode, they're like, alright, this guy just mashes the kick on my block, so I'm just gonna wait for the third hit and just throw it. Like, you basically, as you can guess in DOA, being predictable is a bad thing. Unless you have the most godlike flowchart ever, try to mix things up. Alright, when the opponent goes, let's just say, I mean, when they go from reaction to guess mode, let's just say right here, in reaction mode, moves that are like 19 to 20 frames are easier to react to. When you're in guess mode, all of a sudden, those 19 to 20 frame moves become harder to react to, and hell, you can even try and sneak in like a 25 frame move, such as like, I don't know, like Jan Lee's Dragon Kick. You may guess it, it's a kick to the face that looks somewhat similar to that, but it's an unblockable that, yeah, it's a 25 frame unblockable, so if you're just standing there blocking, like, if you don't know if Jan Lee's gonna do like a forward kick, you don't know he's gonna do like a 6P or something, or other type of moves that Jan Lee has, then he will eventually sneak in that 25 frame unblockable on you and will smack you in the face, where you're thinking like, how the hell did I not react to that? It's because he was making you respect other things. So yeah, putting your opponent into guess mode is a really good idea in DOA6. Alright, apart from different kind of like free cancels or string delays, another thing I also do recommend is, if you have any good on guard breaks or frame advantage moves like that, please feel free to utilize them. Like for instance, Ione has a, right here, she has a plus 23 guard break. It's a high guard break, it's a 39 frame move, but it comes out of Ione's spinning, so it's like, if the opponent's not fully paying attention to the fact that it does a different kind of spin, you can eventually kind of sneak that in, and then you'll be at plus 23. With plus 23, you can get a 21 frame mover faster for free. Alright, see right there, I get a guaranteed combo for free, even though the combo does end up getting scaled. You see the launcher comes out at 50% damage, so yeah, but still, guaranteed damage is always good damage. Another example with Ione's, she has another low guard break right here, 1 H+K, it gives her plus 19, but it's weird. Technically a 15 frame move like 4P should connect, but it pushes back a lot, so you have to do like a micro dash and try and sneak it in. You see right here, it's this small window to end up hitting the opponent. And then you can go for a little combo right there. See, this is off of that's 77 damage off of a guard break plus a little environmental damage. So you get the idea though, that if you can get someone in a corner, and if you've got the opponent to freezing up and they basically like don't know what you're expecting, then you can actually try and get a little cute and try and sneak in these guard breaks. And as a tip, if you got someone cornered, you can actually connect your 17 frame or faster follow-up easier. Alright guys, that's it for now. As for another point for the slow, highly telegraphed guard breaks, such as like Ione's 2-3 H+K or something like that, I usually tend to recommend using them, let's say, on like the opponent's wake up. So after you knock them down, then you can maybe like sneak it in or something like that. Even though I generally don't recommend doing guard breaks right over the opponent's body, because they can do like a wake up comeback kick to you, so... But what I actually recommend is maybe spacing it like a little bit back up, then maybe doing it. For instance, characters like Hitomi and Christy have, they have pretty good guard breaks that end up taking like a step back, like something like if I can show an example, there's like Ione's closest version is her 1 P+K hold P. So what those kind of guard breaks do is they end up avoiding close range attacks. Then you end up getting like the guard break. So yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, guys, if you have any further questions about anything, feel free to contact me on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, so that means like leaving a comment down below. You can also contact Force of Nature on freestepdodge.com. And I'll also let you know that I have started up the Top Tier Fighters program, so feel free to subscribe to that, and you can even ask me even more intricate questions about stuff, all things DOA or 3D fighters. But yeah, also be sure to check out my other guides, both character and top tier tip guides, just to get a better all-round look at DOA, DOA6, anything like that, and just get a greater appreciation for this awesome game. Anyways, this is Force Nature sign off. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time on Top Tier Tips.